Welcome to another episode of the Be Wise Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Y. Wright. Before we get started, please subscribe, like. Go ahead and hit those buttons. Just an easy click. I would really, really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to talk about pandering. So, every 4 years, like clockwork, there's this phenomenon that occurs and it defies the laws of nature. I don't understand. A group of wealthy Ivy League educated consultants in DC suddenly remember that Black people exist. And no, they don't come with policy papers or economic blueprints. They come with vibes, vibes, right? It's like, welcome to the season of pandering, where your struggle is their backdrop, your culture is their costume, and then your vote is their birthright. So we're going to look at the Democratic Party's favorite game, how to win the community's heart without actually fixing their neighborhood. The I'm one of you starter pack. And it's like this playbook hasn't been updated since the Clinton administration. Remember Clinton used to appear on Arsenio Hall show with sunglasses and saxophone playing jazz. I don't think I've seen him play the saxophone since. Remember Hillary Clinton with the hot sauce in my bag swag? And then they all seem to show up on the same programs, on the same shows where Black people are. All the hip hop radio shows, the Breakfast Club, most significantly. Let's watch a couple of clips, and we're going to talk about it because it's mind-boggling. I think it's what's drawn more Black people to the Republican Party. We don't need to be pandered to. It's what pushed more people towards Donald Trump because he doesn't pander to Black people. He actually does things like donate money to HBCUs, pardon Black people from jail, fix the justice system to get incarcerated people out of jail or less time, trying to increase law enforcement or boost law enforcement, respect for law enforcement in Black communities, not putting them away like Kamala Harris for weed, but actually trying to get Black fathers back home with their families. But, let's watch some of the pandering.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to Black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
That's the part that killed me. Okay. Like, how transparent can you be? It's like, okay, if that's what they want to say, is it working? Is it going to get their vote? Because if it's going to get their vote, then I'm going to have my coach bag full of hot sauce every time I do a stump speech in the Black community. That was wild.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't Black.
Biden just said, then you ain't Black. Like, you got one choice. You ain't Black. Listen to Governor Hochul.
Young Black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word computer is.
What? Like, this is a native generation where it wasn't like when I was born, like there weren't like computers accessible in every household. Like, we didn't carry computers in our pockets, like an iPhone. We didn't have tablets. The computers are in schools. And she says in the Bronx where kids don't even know what a computer is.
They don't know. They don't know these things.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And
Ooh, I'm just like you guys. I got a 960 on my SAT score that would barely get me into community college. And then he caught himself.
I'm not trying to offend anyone,
I mean, that is.
That's mind blowing. So this happens every year, every 4 years. you know, the church visit. And when they go into the church, they start preaching like they're Dr. King. I came here today. These are white people. I came here today to talk to you, my constituents of your community. And then they clap, or they'll do a gospel song like Obama did, Amazing Grace. Quote from one verse. It's embarrassing, you know? Like I said, they'll do the radio tour. They'll go on the Breakfast Club, Power 99, every black radio station in Detroit and Chicago, Los Angeles, and sit there and talk about how they're for the community. They even try to sound like Charlemagne, try to look like him. Come on. It drives me crazy. They'll use an accent, a Southern accent. You get some senator from like Massachusetts, sounds like they grew up in the 5th Ward of Houston. It's brutal. And it's not just cringy, though. For me, it's insulting. Like it treats the most sophisticated voting bloc in our country like we're like one catchy jingle, away from forgetting the price of eggs. They think black outreach means hiring a rapper for a rally, Megan Thee Stallion twerking at my campaign. Not talking policy, not talking about why we should vote for the Democratic Party. No, we hire a rapper for this rally instead of explaining why your rent tripled in the blue cities. It's mind-boggling. And it's well, where else are you going to go? It's like he said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. It's almost like, where are you going to go? You have to vote Democrat. Your parents voted Democrat. Your grandparents voted Democrat. It's crazy. I think the biggest pandering of all is entitlement. The idea that if you don't vote for them, you ain't black, you're not down with the struggle, you're betraying your race, you're a coon, you're Uncle Tom. It's the ultimate gaslight. And then when they get other black politicians, if they're white and they get other black politicians to campaign for you by calling them out, the ultimate gaslight. Democratic Party, they've spent decades treating the black vote like a guaranteed inheritance rather than an earned investment. And it drives me absolutely bonkers. Remember Obama campaigning for Kamala Harris? It's a longer video, but I'm going to stop it in clips.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities,
Signs
is that...
I'm sorry. Look at the signs on the back wall. Black voters, Harris Waltz. Black voters for Harris Waltz. Pennsylvania Democrats. I want you to notice that.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
That's because you were the first person of color to run for president, Barack. All right. And there was a lot of energy. I voted for you. I did. And I voted for you because you were black. That was the first time I've ever voted for someone based on identity. Of course, because we have had all white presidents prior to that. But my point is, I did it once and I'll never do it again. Because not only were you a black candidate, but you were a mixed race candidate. And you had the eloquence and oratory skills, can't talk, to actually bring people together. You had great speeches, great speech writers. So it was a little bit different. Kamala wasn't going to get the same love that you got.
Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
The brothers. The brothers. Is that how you say brother? With the brothers.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
I'm going to speak to y'all directly. It's a pandering thing. And you know what? When you're keen to it, you pointed out every word like you listen to, because you know that you're not talking to white people like that. You're not talking to, the people in Massachusetts or Rhode Island and Maine like that. You're not talking to the great people of, certain parts of Texas like that, South Carolina. You picked it to talk to the brothers like that, the brothers.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
And he's talking about Kamala, who didn't grow up like a lot of these brothers, did not grow up poor. It's even debatable if her father was black, but we all know her mother was Indian. So we don't know necessarily what the second half is, but I'm going to give her the benefit of doubt. Let's say her father is black. How she got into an HBCU, how she got into AKA sorority, I don't know. I don't think she went to an HBCU. I got to look that up. I'm sorry. I might have misspoken, but I do know she was in a black sorority, AKA. She probably was in that sorority because depending on what college you went to, white sororities did not allow black women in it, black men in it. But nevertheless, Obama's mentioned the struggles of the black community and how she knows your pain and she empathizes with your pain and your struggle and gone through the same things that you have, but yet she incarcerated a disproportionate amount of you.
Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
She achieved the second highest office in the land because Biden was very clear about trying to select a black woman as his VP. So, can you think of any other Democratic president that would have selected Kamala Harris? I'll wait.
And is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high.
I think medicine prices were at an all-time high during the Biden administration. So I don't know what she did. Trump's actually bringing pharmaceutical prices down. So okay.
And are committed to, is committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So everybody's got help here. And care.
Here he goes. He's pushing that Obamacare, that landmark policy that he made.
About things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person.
Okay, so he flat out lied. Flat out lied. He said that Donald Trump disregards the black communities and don't create programs for us. When he lost the election to Biden, wasn't he working on a plan with Ice Cube? Ice Cube came to him with a plan, and he was going to implement it had he won. And what he's done when he did get back in office is Ice Cube's like, hey, what about that plan? He went back and started implementing some of those things in the plan. So Obama's saying that Donald Trump disregards the Black community, and that's just not factual.
And you're thinking about sitting out?
Now we're about to get to the good part.
But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be.
So did you hear that whole exchange? He goes, y'all thinking about sitting out? And the gentleman right here in the white hat says, I'm not. And he looked at him without smiling and said, Cousin Pookie might be. Cousin Pookie? Cousin Pookie? I don't have a Cousin Pookie, by the way. I'm Black. I don't have a Cousin Pookie. Sorry. And that's just insulting to me. That because he's Black, he has a Cousin Pookie. Or that's how he makes his analogy, or I don't know. It's just weird, Barack.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
First, we're dealing with Black. She came from the same struggle. That's one identity. The ghetto, hood, that's another identity. Worked twice as hard. That's another identity. And now he's finally gotten to the woman. Because what that's going to do is that's going to not only galvanize Black people, but he's smart. He's smart. That also galvanizes the woman. So if you say Black woman, he didn't say that. He said, you're uncomfortable voting for a woman. He didn't say Black woman. So that means white women will be able to identify with that. You see? Barack didn't wake up last night.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to.
Why the barbershop? White people don't go to barbershops? See, I know all the reasons. I grew up in a Black community. I know that's where the discussions go down. Sports, media, politics, they happen in the barbershop. So he used the barbershop when he hasn't been to a barber in God knows how long, because he probably has a private barber that comes to his house. He hasn't been a barber since he was a community leader in Chicago. Well, he knows this is where the Blacks, hang out. I haven't been to a barbershop in a while either. I got a bald head. And I didn't like hanging out in barbershops because I just wanted my hair cut. I didn't want to get into who was the best boxer or who was going to win the Super Bowl or what about this Black candidate, that Black candidate, etc. But he mentioned barbershop. More pandering. It's all pandering.
In your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
All right, that's enough. I mean, but here it is. Look at the 2024, 2025 data. The firewall is cracking. Why? Because you can't pay the electric bills with a happy Kwanzaa. You can't put happy Kwanzaa in your Instagram or your tweet. So while the DNC, they focus on like identity gymnastics, Black men, especially younger ones, are looking at their bank accounts and saying, explain the math, not the melanin. Now, they will march with you in June and then forget your name in July. That's just the way the Democrats do. They love the aesthetics of like Black liberation, but They get hives when you mention school choice or ending qualified immunity or actual economic deregulations that help small businesses in the neighborhood. You know? It's the representation that's a distraction. You know, they put a face that looks like yours at the podium, so you don't notice that the policy is the same one that's been failing you for 40 years. It's like getting, you know, a new waiter at a restaurant that serves nothing but salt. The service looks better, but you're still thirsty. So here's the reality. And I feel like I have to have this same type of podcast or YouTube or speech every 4 years. We're getting ready for the midterms. So I'm just getting you ready. Don't fall for the okey doke. That's what we said in the hood. If I was talking to a Black audience only, I'd be like, don't fall for the okey doke. Here's the reality. Loyalty is for dogs. Politics is for results. If a party thinks your vote is automatic, they have zero incentive to actually deliver. Zero. And like the era of like this being pandered into the booth, that's over. The hot sauce is dry. The dancing is tired. The singing, I'm over it. And we're all out of stickers. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the next cameo in a music video will finally lower the interest rates. I don't know. Maybe twerking at the next campaign rally will get more housing for Black people. What do you think? I don't know. I just think the DNC is finally losing its grip. Or maybe the Panda Press is still working. I don't know. Chop it up in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm just done with it. I don't want to talk about identity anymore. Don't want to talk about race anymore. Give me a Black candidate. Byron Donalds, he's running for governor out in Florida. Wesley Hunt, I think he's in Texas. I mean, just these are brothers that don't talk about race. If you want to vote for a Black person, vote for one of them who talks about policy and initiatives and things that actually going to make things better for all people. Peace out. I'll talk to y'all later.